on surviving so far. Nope, they are not. Getting hit.
Look at goes forward. What a move! That's some late braking, and that's what you want to see. Lots of pressure put on the McLaren driver, but he's dealing with it like a boss.
Not just a software. Hello and welcome guys to the stream. Hope everyone is doing well. And tonight we've just got some more RCI practice as we had yesterday. So just gonna go out on track, just do a bit of testing with the setup, get some more practice in. for the race on Saturday, and just see how we get on, to be honest. So again, if anyone wasn't in the stream yesterday, it's on Saturday, I think about 12 o'clock or so, the race starts. We have a 6 hour of IMLA, so we're just doing some practice with that today. And I forgot to put my HUD on. Give me 1 second. There we go. Just get the HUD up, there we go. Setup feels good, to be honest. It's more focused on the dry, but still drivable in the wet. Could do with doing a bit more wet practice, but need to get some pace in the dry, and then we'll do a bit of wet practice after this, I think. Probably do like an hour or so in the dry, I would say. Maybe see what the timing's like, but maybe if we do this session and then do like a wet race against the AI or something. Because the AI have a wet focus setup, so it's, you can kind of see how much slower the setup is compared to like a full wet setup. Because I think the AI just used the wet default setup, which is actually quite quick in the wet if you just use the, you know, the in-game wet setup. But they're usually pretty rubbish in the dry, so they're not very good for endurance races. Oh, too much curb. But if you're doing a wet sprint race, just using the default wet setup is sometimes a good starting point. But it depends how wet it is. Because if it's just like medium wet, to be honest, you can usually use a dry setup with just a couple of adjustments. Whereas if it's full wet, then you might want a full wet setup. Right, a bit of a messy outlap, but let's see what kind of lap times we can do today. Maximum fuel, since it'll be an endurance race, so really the focus is just to improve the pace and the tyre management. I think this setup feels quite good for the tyres, to be honest. It doesn't seem to be wanting to slide too much. It's got a little bit of slip on some of the exits, but it's not excessive. It's very manageable, and it doesn't seem to be locking up a lot, even though the ABS is only at 2. So, to be honest, seems fine. Just need to practice it so that I've got a bit more pace. It was quite fairly slow lap, but felt quite smooth anyway. Feels amazing over the curbs there. So yeah, again, quite slow. Oh, did I just invalidate that? Oh, that was stupid. I just slightly cut the line on that straight there, and that invalidated it. That was my stupidity there. Oh, I braked myself there, just a bit too hard on the braking. So like I said the other day, I ideally want to be low 42s race pace. To be honest, if I could get high 41s, that would be amazing, but I know a low 42 race pace is definitely achievable by Saturday, but I'm not sure about high 41s. But the car definitely feels really good, so it's just a case of practicing as much as I can. And again, it's 4 dry tyre sets for a 6-hour race, so I'm hoping for some rain. Or if we have to do 2 double stints again, it's gonna have to watch the tyre wear as well. Tyres don't feel too, like I say, it doesn't feel like it's sliding around on the tyres a lot at all, which is really good. This is a very slow lap because I messed up turn 1. Yeah, this is going to be like 43 or 44. Yeah. Very, very, very slow, as I thought. Most of that was in the first corner, I think. Bit of a rubbish exit out the hairpin there. First sector wasn't too bad. In quali runs, I think 4th is the right gear there. I wonder if 3rd's may be better with race fuel load, just to get that extra bit of rotation. I'll try it in 4th though, just to compare. This was a good first sector, but then the rest of the lap has been a bit rubbish. Good final 2 corners though, bit better than the last lap. Bit smoother. So basically I want to knock off 1 second by Saturday, which if I keep practicing I think would be achievable to knock off 1 second by Saturday. I mean, it's only Wednesday today, so if we keep practicing we should be able to find that extra pace. Don't think I need to adjust the setup that much, to be honest, because it feels fine. It's really just practicing the driving. Felt nice through there. That was nice. A little bit slower actually though. That was faster through the chicane, but I think that would have been invalid. I think that was a bit too much curve. But this is what we need to test in practice. I don't want to be testing in the race how much curve I can use in the chicane. I want to be testing that now, so that I know so that I know in the race how hard I can push for the track limits. I know where I can and can't risk it. So like the chicane is a very high risk, low reward for lap time versus for track limits versus lap time, whereas like some of the other corners, like this section here, track limits are fairly low risk for getting a track limit warning, whereas that final sector through the chicane, it's very easy to get a track limit warning on that chicane. And when you've only got 3 warnings for an entire 6-hour race, it's very high risk for the couple tenths that you'll gain. 3/10 up though. But yeah, like I say, so if I could get high 41s by Saturday, that would be fantastic. If not, and I only get to a low 42, I'll be happy. But to be honest, it looks like we've already got 42.5 in the lap, so I think a high 41 will be achievable by Saturday. We just need to keep at it and keep practicing. Also, a little bit of time on the exit through there. Right, let's send it. Let's try third gear through the chicane. Nah. Third gear feels a bit more stable going over the first curb, but then when you come to accelerate, you have a lot less rotation and acceleration in third gear. So I think it would probably work alright in quali fuel, to be honest, but with race fuel I think second gear is better through there. But we'll try it next lap and see. But yeah, there's certainly a lot of time in the Delta. Definitely a 42.5 in the Delta, at least. Oh, messed that up. Just pushed a bit too hard there. Yeah, so this lap isn't great. It's unfortunately invalid as well, I think, so I can't use it to test the chicane. But we'll try the chicane in second gear anyway, just to see what it feels like. Because third definitely feels a lot more stable, but I think you lose it on the exit. The other thing is, with the race setup, you can't push quite as hard as you would in the qualifying, because for the race it's all about consistency. You don't want to be on the limit every single lap, because you'll just wreck your tyres and you'll run the risk of track limits, whereas for qualifying you could send it a lot more than I am just now. So we will do some qualifying practice closer to the day, because it'll probably be me or Luciano doing qualifying. But the setup feels good. It feels really good. It's just needing to. I just need to practice my driving. But the setup itself feels absolutely fine in the dry, so just need to test it's still okay in the wet. It should be absolutely fine. First two corners there weren't great compared to that other lap. We had a lot more in the Delta there. Oh, shifted into third a little bit late there. Still gained a bit on the Delta, but should have been in third gear a little earlier there. Got a little bit of wheel spin. Just dipped the wheels in the grass there on the exit. Yeah, fourth gear definitely slower because you get that understeer with the race fuel. In quali it's definitely fourth gear, but in the race fuel I think it's a bit understeering in fourth. And just completely messed up that right hander there. The Aston's looking quick though. This is where we won our first endurance race on PC, and we won it with it was Manuel and Joris that we did that with, and that was in the Aston, dry and wet race. But yeah, Aston definitely looking quick. I'm going to assume that's qualifying fuel from the top Aston. Either that or it's a very, very quick race fuel. About 3/10 up there. Lost a little bit in the first corner. Still 3/10 up on the delta. That's going to be invalid, surely. No, still valid actually. I expected that to be invalid, to be honest. Usually that curbing is quite strict. Oh, too much curb. There goes the delta. Still a decent chunk up, but lost the 10th or 2 through there. And that was a bit slow as well. Still gained a bit of time, but definitely a lot more time to find. And we're just running the same set of tyres as long as I can, because it's a good test of the tyre wear just to keep driving. If I spin, then I'll put a fresh set on, but for just now, just testing how the tyres wear is actually quite good. So the tyres will start to drop off a bit, but we're still finding lap time because we're just focusing on the driving just now. So even if the tyres are dropping off a little bit, it doesn't actually matter too much because I'm focusing on managing the tyres better. Because last race my tyre management was nowhere near as good as Luciano's, so I need to work on managing the tyres a bit better. No, too much curb. Hi, how's it going, mate? Thanks for tuning in. How are you doing? Tire pressures seem to be alright, just a click or two too high on the left, if anything. Oh, too much curve on the left there. To be honest, I had a mental blank and I couldn't remember if it was your username or not. Yeah, gaming's going well, just practicing for the 6 hour race on Saturday. So just testing the tyre wear and practicing because I need to get basically need to find another second or so and then I'll be happy. But I've got till Saturday, so we've got plenty of time. So I'm just trying to practice and also practice managing my tyres a little bit better so that the tyre wear isn't quite so severe as the last race we did. Because the last 6 hour race, my tyre management wasn't as good as my teammates, so I need to work on that quite a bit. Oh, a bit wide. I'm still waiting on the grille from my car though. It's still not arrived yet, which is a bit disappointing. But I will send you a picture when it does eventually arrive so you can see what it looks like. At this rate it'll be tomorrow or like very late tonight. Because my email said, oh dear, shifted into fourth, way too early there. Yeah, my email said it would be tomorrow because there was a delay. But when I go onto the tracker, it says, sorry, there is a delay, but we'll still deliver your parcel today. So I have no idea. Either the poor delivery driver is going to be working like 10 o'clock at night, or it's going to be delivered tomorrow. I have no idea. Yeah, it's a 6-hour race, but I only drive for 2 or 3 hours. It depends on how the stints go. But I'm most likely going to have 2 teammates, so it'll probably be 2 hours each if everything goes according to plan. I think Luciano will be doing... Luciano wants to do qualifying in the first 2 stints because he can't stay for the entire race. So Luciano is going to do qualifying. So actually we don't need to practice qualifying. Luciano is going to do the qualifying and the first 2 hours, and then me and David will be doing the last 4 hours. So it'll depend on the conditions if it's raining and that, but most likely it'll be 2 hours each. But we'll just have to wait and see if it rains or anything, because that can muck up the strategy a bit. It depends. So Luciano's doing 2 hours double stint. So each stint is 65 minutes long. So he'll be doing 2 stints. And then I'm not sure for the final 4 hours. It depends on the tyres. Because if it's like a wet race, then it'll be like 1 hour me, 1 hour David, 1 hour me, 1 hour David. Or if we have to do what we did last race, it'll be like 2 hours David, 2 hours me. It just depends on what the weather conditions are going to be like, to be honest. That plays probably the biggest role in the strategy. Kind of hoping for rain, because ideally you want a fresh set of tyres for every stint, but we've got 6 stints and only 4 dry tyres. Every team has the same issue, but if it's wet for like 2 hours, then that solves the problem. So I'm actually kind of hoping for a wet race, but there's only a 25% chance it goes wet, so it's not that high a chance that it does rain. So just kind of got to hope that it does. The car feels good in the wet, so just got to hope that we do actually get some rain. Oh, pushed too hard through that one. That's been done about 20 minutes on these tyres, and I've had a few slides, been pushing quite hard, haven't changed the tyres yet, and they feel absolutely fine, to be honest. Just trying to find the limit of the setup, and the tyres are handling it absolutely fine. We're at Imola just now. It's actually a really good track, to be honest, Imola, because you've got a number of overtaking opportunities in that. And you've got a lot of big curbs and a lot of sketchy corners, so a lot can happen at Imola as well. But there's a fair amount of overtaking opportunities, so the racing's quite good. Right, that lap was very, very messy. So we'll go again. First sector just neck and neck with the Delta. No, too wide. Still valid, but lost a lot of time touching the gravel. Yeah, it just messed up my entry to the hairpin as well. Not ideal. And yeah, that is invalid that time. Double right-hander wasn't too bad. Not particularly fast, but fairly smooth. Try the chicane a bit more aggressively. Gained about a tenth there. Bit sketchy on the exit. I did find about a tenth of a second there. And I know I've got time in this double left-hander because the other lap I lost a lot of time here. Just did it again, messed it up on the final corner. Did the same thing. Bit of wheel spin. 24 minutes though, and the tyres are absolutely fine, so hoping this setup will be quite good on the tyres. Oh, too much curb on turn 1. This sunset completely messes up the first 3 corners if you get the first one wrong. You gotta get turn 1 perfect, otherwise the next 2 corners are just rubbish. I didn't go for a drive today, but I did go for a drive yesterday. So I went to Edsel and back yesterday, and then I went to Lawrence Kirk as well. I just went to the co-op with my dad to get some food. Yeah, went along. So when I went to Edsel, it was just the kind of back roads, but I know them quite well because I used to work in Edsel. And then yeah, I went to Lawrence Kirk on the dual carriageway, but it was at night, so it was super quiet. It's funny, I got a low score because you get like a driver app thing for the insurance. I got a low score for the time of day I was driving at. But overall it was like 91 out of 100 because of the smooth driving and the quiet roads I took and stuff like that. But it was funny, I got like 64 out of 100 for the time of day. Yeah, at night on the dual carriageway road it's actually super quiet. But it's obviously more dangerous to drive at night. But actually for other cars being on the road, you usually find, well I do anyway where I am, that at night it's a lot quieter. So on the dual carriageways it's sometimes better, but the insurance app doesn't think that. Oh, too aggressive. Too late on the brakes there. I know when I was at your house and didn't leave till later, it was easier driving home than at like 5 or 6 PM. Yeah, Yeah, like yesterday, I think it was 7 or 8 PM, I was on neutral carriageway and like there was hardly anyone. It was great just to get used to the car. I could test the cruise control and stuff as well, which is nice. Oh, shifted into 4th too early. It was 10th up there. Yeah, cruise control is good, especially like you're going on, you spend a lot of time on neutral carriageways and stuff. Like for me, if I'm going to work, then it's on neutral carriageway. Whenever I go to most social stuff, I'm on neutral carriageway for most of it, so it'll be quite good having the cruise control. If you end up with a Volvo though, unless it's a very low spec, I would assume it would have cruise control, to be honest. If a Skoda has cruise control, I would hope the Volvo does, because the Volvos are a lot more, or the ones that we've had have been quite techy. You have lots of fancy bells and whistles. But I think it depends on what model you get, because you have not necessarily model, but like specs. You get ones at like a different level of what specs they have and stuff. So I guess it depends which one you get. So that's nearly half an hour on this tyre set and they're all green. Tyre pressure's dropped a little bit, but I'm still able to push with a little bit of sliding. And definitely you lose a bit of the rotation, but definitely feels not too bad at all. Yeah, I think I might just return to garage now. If anything, I might just soften the front roll bar by 1 click, because it definitely starts to get a bit understeery. Oh, my keyboard's gone and stopped working. Why do you always do this to me? Yeah. If you get a Volvo XC70 or XC90, that would be amazing, to be honest. But you do get ones like the, I'm not sure how they are price or insurance wise, but you do get ones like the, I know my neighbour's got like an Audi Quattro like estate, but it's like a raised kind of off-road one with roof bars and stuff. They look quite smart. BMW do one as well. Ah, there you go, my keyboard's working. BMW do like an estate thing, but I don't think that would be very good off-roading. I think they're quite low. What's another one? Obviously you got the Skoda that I've got. You've got, I mean, there's the Volkswagen Passat estates as well, but I don't know if they do ones with a race suspension. I mean, a month's pickup truck would be amazingly practical for you, but they are terrible for fuel economy and road tax, apparently, because they're so bad on fuel economy. The road tax is quite good. It is quite bad because of how bad the fuel economy is. Because I would love a pickup truck at some point, but they are very expensive to run because of the fuel economy. But they are super practical if you do any sort of off-roading. Yeah, you can get some pickup trucks to buy that aren't too expensive. It's just to run them, they're too expensive if you're actually wanting to go anywhere. If you use them for work, you know, and your work is like within half an hour of wherever you live, maybe it's not so bad. But if you're wanting to sit onto a carriageway and go places in a pickup truck, you're just going to burn through fuel. Yeah, they are very practical. I've seen those bike rack things that the mats that you can put over the back of it. Okay, so the front of the car is already fairly soft. So I could put the diff up, but I feel like that's going to make it not great in the wet. So I might just have to drive with it and hope for the best. Because I think if I change the diff anymore, it's going to affect it in the wet. No, maybe we could go do some of the wet, because that felt quite good in the dry. That was a half-hour stint. It felt fine. There was a lot of pace in the lap, but even with the tyre drop off, it still felt quite good. So I'll keep doing some practice, especially tomorrow on that. But yeah, what we'll do is, why not we go and do some wet practice. If I go to 6 hour series. Is this one raining?
Green light.
No, this one isn't raining. That's annoying. Most likely I'll be able to go on, but my mum is gonna go shopping to get stuff, and I might end up going with her, so it depends what time I go. But most likely I'll be able to come on at 9. Right, let me just check one thing quickly, and then we'll go and do some wet practice. Yeah, I just checked my delivery for yeah, I'll probably won't know till tomorrow morning or later tonight, but I will let you know. But yeah, it's annoying. I've got the grill. When I press on my email, it says your courier won't be able to make it today, and then I press track, and it says we're sorry we're running late, but we'll still deliver your parcel today. So I have no idea, but I probably won't be able to install my grill until tomorrow anyway. But if anyone's on stream, this is my Skoda's grill for my car, but without the plastic bit, because the plastic bit broke when the previous owner hit some pheasants. So I just spent like 20 minutes getting the old plastic bit off, because there was still some of it left, so that when the new plastic arrives, I should be able to pop it straight on. I was surprised, to be honest. See, if I was able to order a new metal piece, I would just hang this one on my wall, because it would be quite cool to hang on the wall. Yeah, I couldn't see any when I looked for a reasonable price anyway, just to get both the metal and the plastic. Well, I say metal. It looks like metal, but I think it's just plastic with a metal paint on it. But yeah, if I could have found another one of the metal pieces, I would just hang this one on my wall, but they looked fairly expensive, I think, for what it was. So I just got the plastic bit to replace it. But once I've got that, then the only thing I need for the outside is the rear bumper guard, but that doesn't arrive for like a week. And then I've got for the inside, I need to order the seat covers and the boot liner. I might even get a boot organizer as well, because it's a massive boot, so that for like putting stuff in it, it's just going to roll all over the place in the boot. So I might get like a cheap organizer thing. because they're supposed to be quite good. And I've also got the rear wiper on it is missing the bolt cover, so I ordered that, but I didn't realise it was coming from China, so it's going to take a month to arrive. But yeah, for the big noticeable things on the outside, once the grill's here, it's just getting that rear bumper guard to cover up some of the scratches on the rear bumper, and then yeah, the inside, it's just at some point getting the seat covers and the boot liner and the boot organizer, but I'll probably buy that next month. But yeah, it's the sun visor came today and I installed that, so that was fine. It looked a lot better. So yeah, it's just waiting on the other bits and bobs arriving, to be honest. Where's Imola? There we go. I did of the inside, but I haven't sent any of the outside yet because I wanted to get the new grill on it first before I sent him any pictures. But I did send him some pictures of the inside.
Alright, we have some wind conditions. Watch out for curbs and exits.
But I wanted the new grill to be on it before I send him any of the outside. So I want to try this in a race condition and see what it's like. It's obviously going to be slower than those guys. Yeah, he just said it was good to see the enthusiasm, keep it up, something like that. But yeah, at least he knows I'm taking care of the car. But tomorrow I'm going to spend a wee bit of time just driving it, to be honest. I think I'm just going to go out driving for a bit, because I want to get some practice with it. Because it's like, it's so much longer than the car I'm used to. Because when I did my lessons and passed my test, I was driving a Citroen C3, which is basically a miniature 4x4. Whereas the Skoda's super long because it's an estate. So I really need to get used to driving it. So just do some practice racing with the AI. I just want to see what the car feels like in race conditions in the wet. This is quite heavy wet conditions as well. Well, this is medium wet conditions, which is higher than what's been in the practice server. The practice server's only been light wet. But if it can do medium wet, then it'll be able to do light wet, no problem. It feels, immediately doesn't feel too bad. I've just got to watch my power inputs, because it's got obviously so much power when you hit the throttle on too harshly in the wet. It does seem to kick out the back in the Corsa quite a bit. But it's a fairly soft setup, so to be honest, I didn't need to adjust much to make it wet compatible. Whoa! My PC just had a screen freeze there. Just went straight on because my screen just completely froze there. Don't know what happened there. Oh, that Porsche's early on the brakes there. Yeah, I'll get, like I say, I want to get a bit of practice with it. To be honest, I was going to go pick up Justin on Sunday, like afternoon time, so you can see the car and that. If he's free and that's still good, we could always meet up somewhere near Dundee if you're free as well, Sunday afternoon. I'll need to check with Justin if he's free. Yeah, so definitely need to be very, very careful on the throttle. with this setup. Very slow in the straight line because I've got such high fuel load. But I mean, it feels fine in the corners and the braking. It's just I've got to watch whenever I put the power down that the back end doesn't kick out too much. Yeah, just give me a shout if you're free on Sunday, because I was going to take the car up to his and show him it, but take him for a drive, but we weren't actually sure where we could go. But if you're free, we could meet up somewhere. So just give me a shout if you're free. Oh, ho, ho. Car feels really good, to be honest, in the wet. Feels absolutely fine. Definitely a bit sketchy on the power because it's got such a high diff, but it makes it good in the wet. I'm happy to sacrifice it. Yeah, I'll go check with Justin and let you know. But yeah, if I just get used to the throttle inputs, it feels quite good in the wet, this setup, to be honest. I wonder if I could increase my diff to 300 and it'd still be alright in the wet. Oh, sorry! Sorry, that was my bad. That was rather stupid of me. That was completely my fault. Let's adjust the setup, and I want to see how it feels at 300. Because it obviously will feel fantastic in the wet at 300, but I want to test it in the wet.
Alright, there is some rain in this session, so watch out for slippery curves and remember to brake earlier.
Right, let's try this. Now that's a lot higher diff, so it'll probably be a bit more oversteery, but I want to see how it drives. Probably do like another 15-20 minutes or so, and then we'll probably close up the stream. Maybe actually do a bit more than that, we'll just see how the time's going. But this is feeling good, this setup. I'm fairly happy with it, so I can send it to my teammates. Visibility is poor. Oh! not on the curb, please.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Oh, Porsche, early on the brakes. Come on, you're a Porsche, you can brake later than that. Look at that. Brake so much later in the Porsche. No need for that early braking. 300 diff feels absolutely fine on the exit, to be honest. I'm definitely losing a bit of time to the others, but I'm on maximum fuel and on a dry setup that's adjusted to be drivable in the wet, whereas they're on full wet setups. So you do expect them to be a bit quicker, but to be honest, this doesn't feel that much worse, having the 300 diff, but it will make a difference in the dry. So I'm happy with this, to be honest. Oh, so slow on the exit by the Audi. Just accelerated and he didn't there. The AI seem very quick on the exits, but then brakes super early. It's like they've got a lot of grip on the exit with their setup, but then they brake super early. I do lose a lot of time on the straight because I'm on such high fuel. And I'm in a Porsche which has like 0 top speed. Not too much curb. Forgetting it's wet, not dry. Don't want to use too much curb though. Just use higher gears, not using the exit curb, and it feels fine, to be honest. Just have to remember not to use the exit curbing.
Clear on the right.
You can use some of the apex curbing, just
Clear on the right.
not absolutely never the entry curbing in the wet. And some of the exit curves you can use, but most of them it's a no-go.
Clear on the right.
Usually it's quicker to stay off the exit curbing in the wet, because sometimes it lets you use them. Just because you don't spin doesn't mean you should use them. So sometimes it lets you use the exit curb without you losing grip, but then you look at the traction control and it's flashing. So the traction control is basically cutting your power on and off. So it feels slower not to use the exit curve in the wet, but it's usually quicker because your traction control doesn't kick on. Which is something a lot of people don't realise, especially when you start. Is that sometimes in the wet you use the exit curve and you think, oh that's fine, it felt quite stable, and then you don't use it and you realise that you actually lose a lot of time because the traction control is just, all the traction control does is cut the power to the wheels until you have grip. So if you're on the curb, it's just going to cut the power to the wheels until you have grip. So you just lose a ton of lap time. So it's always better to not use the curb on the exits if you can in the wet. Some, like the chicane, you have to use a little bit. But like this left-hander, for example, I wouldn't use the exit curb in the wet, because you'll just lose time. Same with this section here. Don't use the entry, use the apex curb, but don't use the exit curbing. So don't use the entry, use the apex, and don't use the exit curb unless necessary. But yeah, with 300 diff it feels fine, but it'll make it a little bit better in the dry and it doesn't sacrifice too much in the wet. Like you see, it is a bit oversteering on the exit, but it's manageable. Oh, touch the curb on the entry. Oh, actually gained time with that save there. Somehow gained time by nearly spinning. Look how much closer we got to the Porsche there. Very oh! He was very slow there.
There's a slow car ahead.
just didn't seem to accelerate there at all. Oh, that's what he did. So he just didn't use the curbs. That's why he was so slow on the exit. He's braking here and I'm not, because I'm about to use the curb, but he brakes to stay off the curb. So I just didn't expect that. That was my bad. Didn't expect him to brake there. So we just have to watch that when we're driving the AI. But I'm going to save the setup before we do any more, because that definitely helps. And I'm going to send it to my teammate as well. Let me just send this. Yeah, see you then, Callum. Thanks for tuning in. Just going to send this to my teammate and then we'll do another race or two and then we'll finish up. I just need to send this to my teammates because I will forget. Okay, let's go out again. Let's just send the setup to the teammates there, so I don't forget. See how we get on. I think we'll do, if we go to the end, we'll do maybe, oops, wrong button there. My apologies. We'll do 1 or 2 more races, and then we'll close up for the night. Tomorrow I won't be streaming, but I will be practicing. I'll hopefully be doing a stream on Friday, but I don't think I'll have time to do an actual stream tomorrow. But I will do some practice and see if we can improve the pace a bit. But yeah, I'm actually really happy with how it feels in the wet. Like I say, I've just got to be careful on the throttle on the exits, because it is a bit oversteery, but I'd rather it be slightly oversteery in the wet and good in the dry, to be honest. I'm willing to sacrifice a bit of the wet pace to improve the dry pace, because there's a 75% chance of dry and only 25% chance of wet, so I'd rather the setup is focused on the dry conditions. Why did the green lights not actually come up on the screen there? It only came up on the spotter. That was weird. Or I should say the spotter only said it didn't actually show me green lights like it usually does. Oh dear, that was a bit messy. Honda and BMW is going to be compromised. Thank you, Honda. AI are always so early on the brakes there. I was behind the Honda going into that corner, and then I overtook him around the outside and pulled a slight gap on the exit. Like, they lose so much time every single lap. And also the chicane, I don't... In the dry they take the curbs absolutely fine through the chicane, but in the wet they don't touch them at all, and they just brake mid-corner, which is just really slow. It's the maximum AI as well. It's not like it's the slow AI. Pretty sure this is the I'm not sure if it's maximum aggression, but it's maximum pace, so I don't know why they go so slow in the wet. But like overall, over the whole lap, the AI aren't slow in the wet, but there's just certain corners where they're really slow. Oh, too much curb. Didn't spin, but I lost a lot of time. Yeah, it's overheating my tyres, so I do have to watch the tyres a bit. Honda's going to send it up the inside. Probably going to have a bit better exit speed. Definitely need to keep doing practice, but it feels good to set up the car. Just need to keep practicing it to find a bit more pace, especially in the dry. If I can find about a second in the dry, and then just keep practicing the wet, then we should be good. But I think by Saturday we can find that pace, no problem. Got a lot of time till Saturday, so keep practicing each day. Should be able to find the pace, no problem. It'll just be about the consistency and the tyre management though. Finding that extra second and getting down to, like I say, we were already a 42.5 in the Delta, so getting into low 42s won't be much more time we need to find. And if we get into the high 41s by Saturday, that'll be amazing. But the biggest thing is the consistency. It's fine if I can do a 141.8 race pace, but it's whether or not I'm consistent. That'll be the biggest thing, is making sure the consistency is good. Do definitely lose a lot of time with having so much more fuel than the others and having that high wing, especially on the home straight. I lose a lot because the Porsche is so slow in a straight line, and the setup has maximum rear wing, and I'm on higher fuel. I do just get swamped on the straight when we race the AI. Plus they've got the slipstream on my car as well, so I just have no chance on the straights. In the race it should be a bit different because everyone else will also be on high fuel, but the Porsche will definitely struggle on the straights.
Well done, mate. This has been your Russell, guys. Car on the right.
Don't do a George Russell BMW.
Clear on the right.
Oh, touched the curb on the entry again.
We are halfway through, not over yet.
But yeah, setup feels really good in the wet, to be honest. Just need to practice a bit more, being a bit more cautious with the accelerator. But overall it feels up absolutely fine. It's definitely slower than a full wet setup, but for a dry setup that I've just made a couple of adjustments to, it feels fine. And this is medium wet as well. Like I say, the practice server where it did rain, it was only light wet, so if it can do this alright, it should be absolutely fine in the race. Again, just touching that entry curb. We'll just do this race, I think, and then we'll close up the stream for tonight. See if we can hold on to this position. BMW so much faster on the straights. Didn't quite get close enough to us before the corner though. Oh, too much, too much. That was annoying. See if we can get that position back before the end of the race, but we've only got 2 laps. Didn't like that.
Warning for exceeding track limits.
First part of the lap actually gained some on the delta there, and it's just completely messed up the double right. It will be quite hard to catch the BMW though with this straight line speed. Watch the delta. 1 second at the start of the straight. 1.1. Oh, the lap times are popping up now, which is in the way. 1.2. So we're losing, what, 2 to 3 tenths on the home straight in the wet. But then most of that will also be the fact that I'm on maximum fuel load and they're not. but part of that will also be the fact that I'm in a Porsche, which doesn't have good top line speed, and I've also got maximum rear wing, so we do lose a bit on the straight. Definitely worse when I'm the lead car and someone's in the slipstream with me, whereas if I can get in the slipstream with someone else and follow them, it's not as bad. But at Kailami in round 1, like even when I was in the slipstream with the Aston or the Audi, I think it was in Simzone, I think I was on the slipstream with an Audi, I was literally touching his bumper before the start of the straight, and I could not get close enough to him by the end of the straight to overtake. Even though I was literally touching his bumper on the exit of the final corner, I just could not keep up on the straight. Right, I think we might have another lap after this actually. Yep, we've got 2 laps left. Won't be catching that BMW though. Yeah, do 2 more laps. That was quite good there. Felt very smooth going up the hill there. Gained a little bit of delta because I didn't use that exit curve, and onto the final lap. Pace improving, but also the track is drying up, so I'm not sure. Part of it is my driving is a little bit better, but also the track is drying up a bit. Oh dear, that was a bit wide. Good exit out there. You lost a bit of time there using that exit. Pardon me. Exit curve. Right. There we go. So yeah, that feels good. It's definitely a bit oversteery. But like I say, I don't really care if it's oversteery in the wet because it'll be better in the dry, and it's still manageable. If it was undrivable, then I would change it, but it's still perfectly manageable. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Just need to keep practicing over the next few days and see how we get on. But I think that's going to finish us up for tonight. We'll do some more practice tomorrow. Don't think I'll be able to stream it though, but like I say, I will hopefully be streaming on Friday. Not sure what time. Probably Friday evening or night. Or if I don't stream Friday, it'll be because I'll be practicing with my teammates and doing setup changes and stuff like that. So it's not great to stream that because we're trying to discuss strategy and stuff, and when it's only me talking but I'm having a conversation with my teammates, it's a bit confusing for those watching the stream. So I'll wait and see what we do on Friday. But as always guys, big thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and see you again next